In the studio with us this morning, the guys from GCES. We know Clinton Smith. We know Galen Barkerstock. But, Clint, you got somebody else with you today.
We do. So I wanted to introduce to Indiana Birds Horton, which is an amazing name, I must say. Right? Birds
Absolutely.
Horton. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. How many birds? How did the name come about? Birds, we have to ask you all of these questions this morning. Step up to them. Choose a microphone.
That's
there.
fantastic because I don't think these guys even know how I got that name, and they still agreed to bring me into their world.
All right.
Yep.
So is there a story attached to it, and can we hear it live in
The short
public?
story is I was a pretty shy kid, and I got teased a lot because my rib cage was twice the size as the rest of my body, and people would say it looked like I swallowed a bird cage. Which became Birdman, which became Birdalicious, which became Birdie, and I decided not to pick. I took them all.
So you became birds, plural.
With the S. Got it.
What a fantastic story. Galen, you don't have a story like that, do you?
No, I don't have a story like that. But I did know a story, I just didn't know the whole bird cage part.
Well, it's good to meet you, Birds. When I grew up, we had a guy whose nickname was Bird, and so we named his little brother Tweet.
I'm not a grandparent yet. I'm not a grandparent yet, but my wife and I have picked out our grandparent names.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hold tight.
My wife is going to be Tweet, and I'm going to be Birds, and we'll be Tweety Birds.
There you go.
As grandparents.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. We're going to Tweety Birds today. All right. So, Clinton Galen, of course, you're here every month. Tell us about Birds and his role with GCES. What's going on?
Yeah, so Birds is an agent, financial advisor out of Washington, D.C. area, and we're partnering up to work in the federal market together in our space. So he's up here for a little bit of training, getting familiar with the office, meeting the staff, everything like that.
So is this a culture change for you, Birds, coming to Indiana, PA? Indiana County as a whole, because this is a quite rural area, especially compared to D.C.
So to your question, is this a culture change for me? I would say no.
No?
This feels more like home. I am a transplant living in D.C., but I moved here from a place called Greensboro, Georgia.
Okay.
It is the most rural town in the state of Georgia, and I lived there for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So being here, the closer I got, the more it felt like home when I was driving here from D.C.
But you're probably freezing to death right now, too, right?
No, I'm not. I like it cold.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you really? All right. So, Clint, let's talk a little bit about GCES. And obviously, you have a historical tie to government services and to government workers. And so that's a natural fit. But Birds also brings a great level of expertise in other areas, I assume.
Yeah, the exciting thing is, Birds is the CEO of his own business. He owns Horton Wealth Management. So this is a partnership where, he's going to work with federal employees. We have federal employees, in over 40 states now. So, and we've been adding states, almost every other month we add another state. So being able to take care of that many federal employees, we need somebody else. And we're so happy to have Birds to help us with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So you, of course, at GCES, Galen, have, as we said, a historical connection to working with government services and particularly with postal employees. That's sort of the ground floor for GCES as a company. But you have services, of course, available to all, and you can take advantage of Birds' his experience in that way. But let's talk a little bit about folks and retirement and setting themselves up for a successful retirement in this day and age, as we see the economy the way that it is right now. And I imagine that there are quite a few people out there who have set up plans already, and they're wondering with the economy the way that it is at this moment. Saying, is it time for me to panic? Is it time for me to really do a comprehensive review and be a little bit safer in my investments? What would you tell that person that says, I'm watching this and I'm getting very, very scared?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is to hold on. If you're already existing, we already had a plan in place, hold on to the plan that we had in place. You can turn on the TV or look at your cell phone and it could be good or bad one day, and that's what we're living in right now. The market is soaring. Anxieties are getting high. People are afraid that the market's getting too high and something's going to happen, or some people aren't feeling that they aren't making enough because they didn't get involved with the wave. They didn't want to play the market aggressively, so they're not taking all of these gains that have been made. And of course, the market this year has just been so up and down. So I think that the best thing to do is, if you don't have a plan, to create a plan and get some kind of plan in action to have the success in the future. And then the flip side to it, if you already have a plan, you just have to keep on going with what that plan was going to be. Because the biggest thing that I'm finding is, no matter what, you're going to retire when your age hits and you want to retire, and you're going to do whatever you need to do to make that happen. And it has been through the roof with people trying to retire right now. And that's, of course, why we're bringing birds on right now.
Do we as a society and as folks who are looking at their future, do we have a tendency to ride the roller coaster up and down, and wherever we happen to be and wherever that roller coaster car happens to be at the moment, that guides our decision making? Do we need to smooth that out and just ride for a while?
I think that the market is the market, and we have to kind of just keep on moving forward. Yes, you have to ride the wave. You take the bad with the good, because without the bad, you're not going to appreciate the good. You know, so things like that. But, you know, the market is, you know, I'm all in right now, you know, and I've even looked at, you know, my 401k at the beginning of the year, say January, and I was doing phenomenal. And then I looked the next month and I'm like, wow, what happened? And then I'm back at it and I'm like, well, here we go again.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying, though, does come up a lot, where Galen will meet with people and they're like, I don't care. I want out of there, or I'm going to murder my supervisor, and I need out of the post office. Like, that literally just happened in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
So, like, there are times where people have no choice. They're going to get what they get. And those are the people that wait until either they've waited too long and now something happens and they're forced into having to retire, or they've just waited too long, never looked into it, and decide they want to retire, and they're going to just take what they can get. That's the difference of meeting with us years in advance.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Galen was talking about as well, people who just need to sit back a little bit and let the train ride wherever the train's going to go. And that's a great strategy. But does that at the same time, and Bertz, maybe you can weigh in on this a little bit too, does that at the same time say to somebody who is nearing that retirement, they may have been planning it for October, November, December, say to themselves, I'm going to have to hang on a while longer, I'm going to have to work a while longer?
So I think what you're talking about, I call it planting the flag. You are in a 40-year cycle of growing, and now you're staring at the top of the mountain, and you plant the flag, like, what happens next? And when you get there, that's the scariest time in the world, honestly. So the idea of having to ride it in that moment, and to your point, working longer, you don't know what you don't know until you sit down with somebody. And I like to tell people, don't make short-term decisions with your long-term money. The idea of the market going up and down, it's a gift as long as you focus on the horizon, not like the windshield.
Is there a tipping point at which it ends up costing you more money to continue to work as opposed to taking your retirement?
Well, I mean, there's a life, you know, standard. There's a breaking point where you're just working to work. I mean, if you have a pension and the pension is paying out and Social Security is paying out, there are good chances that if you worked at that place long enough, you are making more money to retire than you are working. And a lot of people, I would say maybe 5 a month, I run into that, where they don't know that they could have been retired now or maybe in a couple months or 2 years before, but they thought that they needed more and more money in their 401k, but they didn't realize that the pension and Social Security was so strong for them that the 401k was like the cherry on the sundae. So, you know, yes, there's definitely a break point of when you are just working to work.
And as you have said, and Clint, you have said this in the past as well, that it really is dependent upon what kind of life you want to live. Do I want to live a life where I'm making the same basic money that I was making as a working person, in which, you know, that's your long-term investment strategy is going to guide whether that is possible or not.
Yeah.
But you have ideas about what you'd like to do in retirement, and so it's a matter of designing your plan to meet those goals.
I think one of the things that, you know, Birds, to use Birds' reference of planting the flag, I think once people actually like stick that flag down and have that meeting with a financial advisor, it's going to tell them what retirement's going to look like. And it's really hard to like paint that picture for someone and say like, hey, this is what it's going to be like for you financially when you retire, because you don't know what you're going to do yet. But Galen compares that number to what you're making right now. Do you know what I mean? So whenever he sits down with someone, that's the number that he's actually comparing to paint that picture for people is, are you going to lose money to retire next month, or are you going to make more money? And that's where a lot of times some people, it happens a lot with federal employees, I would think, more so than other people, because they don't realize how good their pension and Social Security work together. You know, people that just have their investments aren't relying on their pension and Social Security as much. So for federal employees, it happens, I think, a lot more often than with regular people, because regular people just don't have a pension they don't know about. You know what I mean? So
I kind of feel like we all work for the government, so we're all federal employees in some sense.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm renting my house from my school district, and they actually own it. I know what you're talking about.
we would be subcontractors.
Yeah, so all of that, but cost of living does play a role in what you're going to do in your retirement years. If you have set yourself up that this is going to be my income level coming in according to my retirement plan, and then the cost of living skyrockets as it has. I mean, when the price of oil goes up, the price of everything goes up. And so people are saying to themselves, all right, okay, well, this was what I had planned for my retirement. I'm going to have to scale that back, because this is going to be my income level is going to be here, and the cost of living is going to go way up there.
Well, I think that, circling back to the first question you asked about people riding the wave and stuff, I mean, take the reverse aspect. People that are already retired, or maybe have been retired for 5, maybe 10 years, they are actually starting to approach me more so very often now, wanting to know, should I be more aggressive with my investments? Is this annuity correct for me? Because I see all this money is being made over here, but I'm making 5-6% over here. And people are starting to want to get into the market at an older age, which is not alarming to me. Everybody's risk tolerance is their own, but it seems to be a conversation I'm having more as the market keeps on climbing and climbing. Should I be on the sidelines still, or should I go back in?
Yeah, and that's in
Reverse.
retirement, and we're talking there about people who want to get into the market a little bit. There are plenty of people who have retired and say, it's just not for me. I want to go back to work. I want to get a job somewhere, maybe an entirely different job than what my career was spent doing. Maybe I have a lifelong dream that I wanted, like I always told you. My goal and my friend's goal when we were kids were we wanted to work whatever our work was for the so-called career, but then afterwards we both wanted to become guys who ride a lawnmower all day at a golf course. That would be our dream job. Today, that might pay a whole lot more than what we're making anyway.
I'm good friends with Dan Berta. If you want to make that a reality, we can make that a reality. It won't be at a golf course, but we can get you on a lawnmower.
I mean, you're swinging into my path right there. I love that. I'm going to go home and I'm going to mow 3 acres today, just because I love to. But people make these decisions. This is the decision I made in 2026. In 2031, in 5 years, I might find that the lifestyle, nice as it wasn't what I wanted it to be, didn't give to me the fulfillment that I wanted. I want to get back into the market. And they say to themselves, how do I do that? How do I do that and not harm my overall financial picture?
And the answer to that is, I have no idea until I see it. I have to see what exactly a person did, what their goals were and what their goals will be before I can kind of make a recommendation. But from what I found, that most people that are having these feelings are justified in some of the feelings that they're having once I take a look under the hood and start looking.
Yeah. So we're talking here about folks who are nearing retirement age. But again, I want to bring Birds into this conversation. Birds is our new friend here, for those of you who are just tuning in. Birds, we've been talking about folks nearing retirement, but there are people, and I know you'd love to see these guys and gals, who are in their 20s. And probably there are a few of them who are saying, I don't want to work on retirement now while I'm in my 20s. I'm finally making money, and it's good money, because there's good money out there. And so how do I make that call? What are the questions I should ask if I want to sit down with a retirement planner now in my 20s for a plan that is going to be executed in 35 or 40 years?
If I had a magic wand and I'm talking to somebody in their 20s, I would teach them 2 words: compound interest. That's it. Because if they can take a picture of what they're doing today, and you can sit down with somebody like me and Galen and Clint, and flash forward 30 years, what happens in the last 5 years is extraordinary to your savings. So, for example, last week I heard that if you save $29 a day, David Bach said this, for the next 30 years, you have $4.7 million.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking to somebody in their 20s and have to save $30 a day, there's math right there that will show you exactly what it's like. And do it on autopilot. Do not have to write a check every day or every month or every week. Please do payroll deduction. It'll be you paying yourself first to get to that 30-year goal.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of fast food in there, and there are a lot of video games, and you know, today's expenses. And I think one of the two of you, Clint, have said, if we could actually have to pay daily what is taken away from us with taxes and with payroll deductions and all of those different things, it'd be a much more painful decision to make.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think, you know, what we're talking about is life in general. You know, life is crazy. There's so many things that are going to happen where you can make a plan, but good luck. You know, like things are going to happen to all of us that we don't know. There are going to be health issues. Stuff happens with our family. You know, things are going to happen in people's retirement. So making a plan is great, but you also have to, in that plan, be prepared for stuff that you weren't planning for. You know, like you made a plan in your 20s to mow, or when you were a kid, to mow grass. A lot of stuff has happened since then. You know what I mean? If that can still happen for you, great. But there's a lot of people that have, like, it's a fine line between not doing anything and being reactive and actually being productive and trying to, like, control your finances.
The old saying really is true, isn't it? If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah.
Because plans are designed to be changed.
And you throw kids into it. There's so many things that, you know, we stay here and we stand and talk and tell people, you know, you should save money and have an appointment. We understand there's 1,000 things going on. So just try, you know, just a little bit of effort, you know, and that can go a long way. We're not saying you have to meet with us every year, but if you're close to retirement, 10 years out, 15 years out, have that appointment now. And then we don't have to talk for like several years, you know?
Yeah. It's a whole different process if you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. When you finally get nearer to that retirement age, probably in your 60s or early 70s, it's a whole different conversation you're holding with them, Galen, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the generations, the different ways that people view money in general, that alone is its own task to try to figure out what's going on, because somebody that is 60 views money way different than somebody that is in their 20s or 25.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe it's you who have said in the past somebody in their 20s has more risk in their DNA than somebody who's in their 50s or 60s.
Yeah. I just think it's, in general, the education behind everything. And now with cell phones being right in your hand, and literally anything that you can think of, you can ask Google and it'll tell you some kind of answer.
Sure,
you know?
sure. Well, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, people were talking about people in high school, kids in high school, when crypto first became a thing, and they were sitting in their geometry class with their phone out, and they were making investments.
Yeah.
And I remember a kid telling me, I made $2,500 this morning when I was in class because I bought a stock and sold a stock.
Yeah. I think the IRS will figure out that tax bracket.
You know, they're onto you. They're onto you by now.
Yeah. I don't want to seem like I'm old, but
You are.
I know I can tell, because when we started in this business, we used to have like paper, right? Like paper applications. And the insurance industry was not thinking the internet was going to catch on. You know what I mean? Like, they were not up with the times on everything is online now. Like, you can go on and get a financial review online. You can do all of those things, and all of it is at fingertips at your access. So I think people now, compared to 15 years ago, have access to thousands and thousands of more products, because you're not just relying on the paper that agent in front of you has in their bag anymore.
It's a really volatile time right now, especially the stories that we hear every day about AI taking jobs, and what does this job market look like in 5 or 10 years? What will be the average income for somebody who's graduating from college now? What will it be for people who are in the mid-range between retirement and their beginning of their work careers? These are all things that you GCES and Birds now coming in and working with you in partnership. These are things that you consider and that you apply your expertise to and help people design their retirements, design what they want their life to look like financially. So, Galen, people want to get started on this. Now's the time. Why wait?
Yeah.
Right?
Give us a call, 724-915-0000.
That's all you got to do.
That's one of the numbers.
Yeah. That works.
That'll hook you up with anybody else.
Yeah.
Birds, it's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You're going to be up here for how long?
I'll be here till tomorrow, but I will be here till tomorrow, but I'll be back frequently.
There you go. There you go. All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Maybe we'll see you in the studio again. Guys, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
See you
you.
next month.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. Coming up, it is a check of the news with Matt in the WCCS newsroom. It's a Tuesday morning. It's Indiana in the morning on WCCS.